Hey everyone, Meteorologist Emery here in the Fox 19 First Alert Streaming Center on our Thursday edition of 19 at Noon. We're live wherever you stream. Took a moment to get the YouTube going up, but we are good. We are live everywhere. Got a lot to discuss between the microburst that happened yesterday, the flash flooding that occurred, and then of course we also have the heat advisories, the continuance of the First Alert weather day, and the fact that we do have heat advisories in effect today. And even tomorrow, another hot day, but we do have some relief going into your Labor Day weekend forecast, and we do have some more rain opportunities coming up. But I will say today looks a bit drier. I will admit I haven't looked through the data as much in depth as I would like. Ran into some personal stuff earlier this morning, but we are good to go. We are going to be talking about first things first. I want to give you an update from the drought monitor. And this updated drought monitor does show the expansion a little bit further west in terms of the abnormally dry and even moderate drought conditions in and around the tri-state. So let's go and zoom in on this first. Again, nothing's really changed over to our east. We do have extreme drought conditions still for areas pretty much eastern Highland County for the most part. Severe drought conditions going into portions of Clinton County, much of Highland County, northern Adams County. Moderate drought conditions, though, have expanded, not just in Clinton, Highland, Brown, and Adams counties, but also most of northern Kentucky. So Boone, Kenton, Campbell counties, down over towards Owen, Grant, Pendleton, Bracken, Robertson, Mason counties, even a touch of Lewis County, even a touch of Gallatin County. But mind you, that this data was from Tuesday. So what happens is the drought monitor, they get the soil data on Tuesday, they analyze it, they publish it on Thursday morning. So this does not reflect the rain that came down yesterday, which some locations had a lot of intense rainfall in such a short period of time. So I don't see any photos that have been put into our weather computer. I will do that this afternoon and put it on our video that we'll be updating on the 24/7 weather streaming channel. And of course, on the air for meteorologist Catherine Bodak and Steve Horsemeyer. So this is going to be kind of, I'm going to try to do a rough explanation. I don't have all the tools, but I am going to do the best that I can for the time being to explain what happened. Why were there damaging winds associated with the storm that was in Campbell County? So what we're going to do is turn on the correct, there we go. We'll zoom in here. Now let's go the last 18 hours or so. Again, if you're watching us on Facebook, both Fox 19 as well as my Facebook page, feel free to chime in. You can ask questions. Let's go back to the appropriate time. Let's turn off lightning. My goodness. We're going to move the time back a little bit. So let's give it a moment while the data loads on this thing, because it is a lot of data for the radar scans to come through. We'll wait for that real quick. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I am going to save this. And as that loads, we will talk about the heat advisory. So that data is going to be loading in. But basically, microburst damaging straight line winds that were associated with those storms that moved through that area in Alexandria yesterday evening. And that was something we discussed right here on 19 at noon yesterday. Now, granted, the locations were a little bit different, I'll admit to that. And the heavy rain was a lot higher than what models were suggesting, as well as just the overall. You know, we mentioned heavy downpours, but the extent of flash flooding was certainly exceeding expectations, admittedly. But regardless, you know, it was one of those scenarios where those damaging winds did come to fruition, but it came at such a way where something I did mention a little bit with how hot the temperatures were. When you have a drastic change from those heavy downpours, that kind of leads to a strong gust of wind, and that's what happened essentially. I'll try to explain a little bit better if the radar data does come in within the next 15 minutes. If it doesn't, then I'll have to build that for the later shows, and I apologize for that. But let's talk about this first. This is what's happening now heat advisory in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. Heat index values, or feels like temperatures, will break into the low 100s for some locations. And this is specifically along and south of, if you know your roads, US 50. But it does include all of northern Kentucky with the exception of Carroll County for some reason. It includes Ripley, Dearborn, Ohio, Switzerland counties, and southeast Indiana. It includes Adams, Brown, Claremont, Hamilton, Highland counties in southwest Ohio. This is, again, in effect until 8 o'clock this evening with those heat indices or feels like temperatures up to 101. I'm going to look real quick to see if that radar data has come in. I'm requesting a lot of radar data into this system. I don't know if it's going to show it or not. I hope it does, but it's asking a lot from this system. I'll just put it that way. We'll see if that kick starts it. While that gets kick-started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the 7-day forecast. That way, for folks who are chiming in wanting to know the forecast, this is the latest from our First Alert weather team. We have a high of 95 today. Isolated storms are possible, though most of the day looks to be dry in comparison to yesterday especially. Tomorrow, evening thunderstorms, hot with a high of 93. Going into the weekend, scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. It has 87. I am going to make changes to this, and I will update that on the web as well as on our video. We will update here early or later this afternoon. I'm thinking Saturday could be around 85 right now, but I haven't looked at the data as much as in depth as I'd like. But again, there will be tweaks to this 7-day. But one thing that is certain is milder air moving in. That's the good news here. That's the big takeaway from showing you the 7-day. So we have cooler, or should I say milder air working in for Labor Day. Labor Day, we got highs in the lower 80s. Same goes for your Tuesday and Wednesday. 70s for highs look to be moving into the tri-state. So that is some encouraging news that we have here in our 7-day forecast. And I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to show the radar data. It is just not wanting to load, unfortunately. So, you're only limited to the technology that you have available. But again, this afternoon, we are going to get some better high quality radar to show you the explainer. It's a microburst. What you have is this big drop out of the storm. It's the sign of a decaying storm. And what happens is you have this big burst of wind. It comes down all at once, and it can bring wind gusts, on damaging levels. And according to the National Weather Service, it did have radar estimated winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour. So very strong winds from that storm, obviously, as it did cause a lot of damage, a lot of trees down in the Alexandria area. Okay, got some comments on our Fox 19 Facebook page. Jean says it's really hot out there. It certainly is. Rachel says, I'm in Hamilton, Fairfield area, and it is extremely dry here. Our grass is brown and crunchy. This doesn't even touch us. Yeah, the drought monitor, I will say, I think there are some flaws to it. I would be inclined to say that the abnormally dry conditions should be even further west than where they are, but I don't work for the U.S. Drought Monitor, so I can't make that input, but I do think that it's certainly, without question, it's been very dry for us, and a lot of folks are dealing with the repercussions. I shared a photo on my Facebook page this morning out in Hillsborough. Got a friend of mine who shared a photo, Mary, on fox19.com/pics of dying corn, which is very unsettling to see because, a lot of folks are, that's how they make a living. And unfortunately, the weather can really affect how those things, how their income comes in. And unfortunately, the crops are beginning to see really bad effects from the severe and even extreme drought conditions. So I understand, Rachel, I hear you. Jess, I cannot wait until the cool weather gets here to stay. I was over the heat in June. Yes, I'm with you. It's time for milder weather. I will say, next week, temperatures do look to be a bit more comfortable compared to what it's been like the last few days here in the tri-state. And so, I hear you too, Jess. Donna, really hot out there, slowing barbershop down. Yeah, people don't want to be out in this as much. I understand. Jeff says, hello, we need snow. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Although if it was snowing in 90-degree weather, I would be very concerned. On a multiple levels, physics speaking, that means something bad is happening. With pressure of some sorts. But, so here's a forecast model. I want to show you this because, yeah, today is a pop-up chance. You can see this model is showing a couple of, well, I don't have the right thing up. Let's do that first. So here is the 7-day forecast again. We will show you this one more time here at the conclusion of this video. But let's go ahead and talk about what's happening this afternoon. So we do have, again, a pop-up chance this afternoon with the daytime heating. This model did a fairly good job yesterday demonstrating that cluster of storms I showed you yesterday on 19 at noon. I don't suspect anything severe. I don't suspect anything as drastic as what happened over in Alexandria, though I will say any storm that does develop today could have a good gust of wind. I'm not suspecting a microburst scenario in this scenario, but we could very well see a brief heavy downpour, so something to keep an eye on. But this model showing, I think, maybe a couple of pop-up cells, but it does not look to be anything drastic or widespread as it was yesterday. And we go into tonight, you'll see here that things look relatively dry going into your Friday morning. Just a few clouds is all. But then we head into Friday morning. You can see very hot day on tap for your Friday. This model overdoes temperature, so ignore the fact that it has 99 for a high temperature. I think that's a little extreme, though it'll certainly feel like the upper 90s and perhaps low 100s. But Friday, we do have scattered showers and thunderstorms developing during the afternoon, and it looks to continue during the evening. Now, it's going to be popcorn variety on Friday, so not everyone's going to see it, but those that do will see heavy downpours, maybe a good strong gust of wind. So Friday, the severe threat, not entirely zero. It is low. It's lower than it was yesterday. We go into Friday night into Saturday, and also looking at the potential for pop-up showers and thunderstorms moving into the tri-state. So, and this is associated ahead of a cold front. Once that cold front passes, eventually on Saturday, we will look at milder air working its way through. And we will show you the muggy meter because with this heat, it's also humid. And that humidity does make it just even worse than what it already is. So here's a muggy meter. We got the air you can wear basically through Saturday. We head into Sunday though, so the cold front, the models are pushing it just to be a little bit later than what we were talking about even yesterday. So the front looks to actually pass through sometime Saturday evening, even into Saturday night. So dew points will begin to drop. We got more of that cooler air working its way through as we head into the day on Sunday. And then going into next week, dew points are going to be at 50 degrees or below, indicating that nice, crisp, fall-like air moving into the tri-state. I do want to show you a regional model because this does illustrate that front. And this model was one of the earlier ones that did show the signs of the front slowing down. And so here we go. So this afternoon, again, a pop-up chance, but it does look relatively dry in comparison to yesterday. We go into Friday. Now this model really wants to keep things dry for Friday. I think a lot of places will be dry Friday, but I do think there's going to be those widely scattered popcorn variety showers and storms Friday afternoon with the daytime heating and that increase in humidity ahead of the front. So we go into Friday night into Saturday. There you have it, scattered showers and thunderstorms. This is 5:30 Saturday afternoon. The front is still over towards Champaign, Illinois, over towards Fort Wayne, Indiana. There's the front way up here. And this is Saturday afternoon, 5:30. As you're watching some college football, maybe you're trying to get some chores done. Unfortunately, you can't really do them outside just because it looks like we are looking at some scattered showers and some thunderstorms. And right now, I don't see severe activity. However, with it being along a front, that means there's an increase in forcing, so there could be some strong gusts of wind for your Saturday, as well as heavy downpours with this. So again, I'm going to analyze a lot more of this in depth. I will make an update on our website and here on the 24/7 weather streaming channel in the next hour. Within the next hour, I will have all those updates for you. But Saturday, it looks to be the wettest of the forecast ahead. So here it is, Saturday night into Sunday. The front, here it is. It's still not through the tri-state. This is early Sunday morning. Now, here we go. Sunday mid-morning, there's the front. And this model wants to bring in a few light showers perhaps Sunday morning, and I can't rule that out. When you have a front that's slowly moving east, I think if you live east of I-71, you're going to look at some thicker clouds in the morning, and there could be a few raindrops, though it'll be very light. Mind you, this model also shows very light activity. We go into Sunday night into Monday. That cooler air works its way in, and of course, we're dry for Labor Day. We're dry for Tuesday. We're dry for Wednesday of next week, and we're looking dry pretty much through the extended forecast. So if you need the rain, fingers crossed for a pop-up this evening, pop-up chances on Friday, and of course the rain on Saturday, which does look widespread. So Saturday is going to be the potential saving grace for some who really need that rain here in the tri-state. So once more, we'll show you the 7-day forecast. Again, I will be updating this, and it will be reflected on the afternoon shows with Catherine Bodak and Steve Horstmeyer, and it will be reflected on the website once I kind of dig through the data a little bit. So here it is. We got the Reds game here this evening. I think that's going to be fine. Hot though, certainly hot. 95 for an afternoon high. Friday we've got a high of 93. It looks like that pop-up chance is present with us Friday, but most of your Friday now appears to be more dry than wet. We go into the day on Saturday. That looks like widespread rain here into the area, and we do have again that chances of rain lingering into early Sunday morning for areas east of I-71. But then we go into Labor Day, or Sunday afternoon, I should say, dry air, and then Labor Day is dry, and it looks to stay dry pretty much through the end of next week here into the tri-state. Okay, got a couple of comments on my Facebook page, and we'll begin. Chelsea says, Ethan, it's hot. My rain gauge was 1.5 inches from yesterday evening storms in Florence. Wow, yeah, the rain that came down yesterday really exceeded what models were having. I did suspect locally higher amounts. I was thinking on the order of 0.5 inch to 1 inch, but I'll tell you what, sometimes Mother Nature will just wants to give you a test every once in a while. Though I will say the folks in Alexandria, there was confirmed 4.5 inches of rain out in that direction. Sarah says, good afternoon. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you are as well, Sarah. Karen says, hi, Ethan. After Sunday, not too bad. Absolutely right. It looks pretty good for any kind of outdoor activities that you got planned, though, of course, you want to see rain because you want to alleviate some of those drought conditions that we certainly have. Got a couple of comments here on the Fox 19 Facebook page. David, it's drier than the Sahara Desert. I think that's not an understatement. It certainly is intense out there. I live in Milford, and when I was leaving this morning, I noticed my grass was much browner compared to just a couple of days ago. When you have heat this intense, in addition to the dry air, it just makes it worse. Doesn't fully reflect on the drought monitor just how bad it's been here in the tri-state. David, had a little bit of a wind around Maysville yesterday, but not much else. Yeah, a lot of those storms, when they were moving through, the places that saw the rain saw a lot of it, where a lot of places did not see that rain. I know folks in Butler County wanting to see rain, as well as portions of Fayette, Union counties, but most of the rain pretty much was right along the Ohio River for the majority of yesterday. And I was working with the Reds while Steve was on the air. Very complicated process we have working with the Reds, but you know, we appreciate the partnership, and We have to, what we call nowcast, where we're looking at stuff very specifically. You're looking for rain right there at GABP, and so that was the fun I got to have yesterday after reporting. So that was kind of fun, kind of testing my meteorology a little bit. And Steve does that stuff all the time, so learning from him, being able to do that, it's a lot of fun. Molly says, hello, Ethan. Who needs a sauna? We can sit outside for free. Yeah, the downside is the fact that it's just so darn hot. Let's look at the current temperatures out there, because I'm curious myself. Everyone's saying it's hot. I know it's hot, but on what order? Normally I show the camera, but I just kind of forgot. So we're pretty much similar to where we were yesterday with regards to temperatures. 88 right now at CVG, also towards Harrison, Hamilton, Lebanon, Middletown, 87 at the Lunken Airport. But the dew points, the measure of the moisture in the air, geez, it is the same as yesterday. Dew points in the 70s. So yeah, sauna. You nailed it on the head there, Molly. Molly asks, how is my dad's pond? My dad lives, of course, in Berrysville. That's in southeastern Highland County. And it's not looking good. It's worse than what the pictures I posted last week on my Facebook page. And everyone out there needs the rain. There's just no doubt about it. There was some sprinkles, from my understanding, out in Highland County yesterday evening from that dying cell. But it didn't really do a whole lot. Jeff saying, looks like Highland County won't get much rain. Unfortunately, that does appear the case. I think, if anything, for Highland County, your odds are Friday night and Saturday to see showers and perhaps some thunderstorms here into the tri-state. Sheila says we got a few sprinkles in West Union yesterday evening. I did see that. That was kind of the same case for Highland County, too. So, yeah, over in West Union, Adams County, those locations, I think, need the most rain compared to everybody else in the tri-state, though everyone, of course, needs the rain. Sandy, any news on the tornado or straight line winds in Alexandria? It was straight line winds. I was trying to get the radar loading at the beginning of this weather show, but unfortunately the data is not cooperating. But it was a straight line wind event. It's something we call a microburst, and a microburst, it's just this rapid onset of strong winds, and it's kind of the beginning sign of a dying storm. And when you have the temperatures as hot as they were, when you have this heavy of rain as what it was, that's a lot of energy that's within that storm. And when that thing was weakening, it just unloaded that wind. And it looked like wind gusts, according to the National Weather Service, were on the onset of 60 to 70 miles per hour. And so that's why anytime that we have a threat for strong storms, we mentioned damaging straight line winds. People often get carried away with the tornado threat sometimes, and there wasn't a tornado threat yesterday. But straight line winds are just as threatening. So when we say damaging winds, something my boss said when I was in Bowling Green is whether it spins or if it's straight, damaging winds are damaging winds. So, whenever we say there's a threat for damaging winds, you got to take that, with a, you can't ignore it. We'll just put it that way. Now, we did talk about that on 19 at noon with the threat for strong storms, though I will say that the locations were a little bit different, and that's just kind of how it developed yesterday afternoon. It was pretty much along the Ohio River who saw the brunt of the storms yesterday and the heavy rain, and Alexandria unfortunately took that hit. So a straight line wind, Sandy. Thanks for asking. Kevin, so much rain it flooded your yard in Batavia. Okay, I didn't see a report in Batavia. I mean, I knew it was raining a lot, but I did not know that it was flooding there. There were flood advisories in Clermont County, but sometimes those flood advisories are based on, whether it's yards or creeks or streams. But the fact that it flooded in your yard, Kevin, of course you need the rain, but a lot of rain all at once is not good for your soil. But hopefully everything's okay for you, Kevin. Thank you for sharing that. David, can you go outside and step on the grass here in Maysville? It crunches underneath your shoes. Yeah, that's a lot of locations. I live in Milford, and the grass is crunchy there. No doubt about it. one last look on my Facebook page of comments before I wrap this up, because we got to end this very soon for Now the Natty. Okay, last comment. Chelsea said, what, 4.5 inches? Wow, yeah, that was in Alexandria of the rainfall that was there. In fact, what I'm going to do real quick, and I'm not going to answer any more questions because I got to end this very soon because my boss will be mad at me otherwise. So this is, let's go ahead and switch this to storm reports. And this, go ahead and switch that to, all right. Hey, there was a flood report in Batavia. So corrected me. But thank you, Kevin, for sharing that. So you can see the bulk of the reports were coming out of Campbell County, of course. And they don't have the wind damage report over in Alexandria, but this area here was where the microburst occurred, where we had the 4.5 inches of rain, which should be that icon here. So whenever it pops up, you'll see, yep, 4.5 inches, heavy rain. And that's why they issued the flash flood warning, because of course it verified. Everyone knows that who lived in that area. But a lot of flood reports there in Campbell County, and then of course Batavia saw some flooding there, including in Kevin's backyard. So, all right, so again, I'll be updating the forecast. You'll see that on fox19.com/weather here within the hour, and I'll also be updating the video for our streaming platforms, the 24/7 weather streaming channel, and we'll push it out on the Fox 19 First Alert weather app because, of course, it is hot out there. We have heat advisories tonight. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Stay cool. Make sure you check on your neighbors, your friends, your kids, your pets, anybody around you. Make sure that they're cool. Make sure that they're staying hydrated. And there are a lot of cooling shelters in the tri-state. We got details on that on fox19.com. But that being said, thank you all so much for joining us here on this Thursday edition of 19 at Noon. Meteorologist Catherine Bodock will give you an updated forecast beginning at 3 on Fox 19 Now.